Okay, so now we are back for the last part of this mixdown, which is the vocals. I know I said I was going to do the synths and vocals together, but the synths took a bit longer than I thought. So let's just have a listen to the vocals. So let's play from here. You've been hit by rhythm. So there's mainly just sort of vocal hits. And these sort of vocal loops here. Cool, so let's use this part here. And work through bit by bit. So for me, I just think that needs EQing and a bit stereo savage, just so I can place it in the stereo field where I want. And we're just going to knock some of the highs away on some of the vocals. This just allows room for the hi-hats and it just helps the vocals sit better in the mix. See, so that's too much. So probably do a bit more. It's about there, I'd say. Level sounds about right to me. Shot here, just get him sorted. Rhythm, 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 rhythm. It sounds quite nice as he is. I'm just going to double check that there's no sort of low end. Rhythm. Yep, so there's a lot of crap we can get rid of. Rhythm. Sounds like the sample's already got quite a nice amount of reverb on it, so I don't need to add anything myself. Maybe a bit of delay. Rhythm. Rhythm. Yeah, bit of delay, sounds nice. Just helps sort of sit in the mix a bit better. We've got this MJ Vox here, which I think I've already done. You've been hit by, you've been hit by, you've been hit by, you've been hit by. Be a bit quieter. Rhythm. Has a nice little bop to it, that. So what else we got? We've got this one here. Which is our main one during our breakdown. So that sounds fine. Have we got an EQ on it? Nope. So I'm actually going to leave some low end in for this one, just because it's in the break, so we haven't got any of the bass playing or anything like that. If this was playing when the bass was playing, I'd definitely have the cut at 100. Right, that sounds fine to me. And then we've got these ones here that just needs an EQ. And let's group these because they are basically doing the same thing. And then we can just apply a group sidechain because it's quite constant, as you can see. Having a sidechain is just going to help it gel in the mix better. We can get the levels right as a group. And then on the vocal bus, what I'm going to apply is a de-esser. I use this SSL one. A de-esser does what it says. It removes the s and the s's, which can all sound a bit harsh within the mix. Again, if you get a half decent one, they will have some very good presets on it. So I just get this preset here, de-everything. Or this one here, de-s everything, one of the two. And I just let that do its own thing. And just to the whole vocal bus, I'm just gonna apply some satin, and to help give it some character and help with that analog feel that I try to achieve my tracks, I'm gonna run it through the old tape setting.
You've been hit by.
Now if I start driving this old tape setting,
You've been hit by. You've been hit by.
you can really hear like that crunch and distortion it's adding.
You've been hit by. You've been hit by. You've been hit by. You've been hit by.
It's just helping rough it up a bit, which is just going to help it sit better in this track.
You've been hit by. You've been hit.
Now we just need to check the levels of the group.
You've been hit by. You've been hit by.
I'm just going to bring down a dB to make up for this
You've been hit
fat
by.
filter I've
You've been
added.
hit by. Criminal.
And there we go, that is the whole track mixed down. So now we have done the hard work. What I'd recommend doing is taking a break, coming back to it with some fresh ears and making some final tweaks. I just had a break from all the previous mixing in the other videos I've done, so I can do my tweaks here. So I can hear something in the percussion which I don't like the sound of, and I'm pretty sure it is whichever one I added this to, the crystallizer. Nope, maybe it's this one. It's not that. So it's just that one there. There's some just highs in it I can hear, which I just don't like the sound of. So I'm just going to get rid of that. So that's all sounding nice to me. These textures that I added early on, that needs to be copied from the start all the way to the end. And then we need to do the same with the top loops we added. Okay, so now I've done that. You didn't really need to see that because it's very boring. So So we're going to put these top loops in the hat group as well. All we're going to do is just have a listen to it. Just listen to it while it's playing, see if anything jumps out. I've already done this while playing around with those top loops, so I didn't really notice anything. So for me, that mix is sounding really good. There is 2 extra little things I do to get the most out of the sound. Now if we look at my send and returns, I have running through J a send and return, which is a glue compressor. Now I've set this up for parallel compression, and this is where I do the bulk of my compression work. Parallel compression is a really good way of doing it. So what we're doing is we're sending the signal into the send and return, which is heavily compressing it, and then it's sending it back to the bus. Now why I prefer parallel compression to normal compression is it's a lot harder to fuck up. So if I was to compress all of these individual channels, I might overdo it and kill the sound. When I'm running the send and returns for parallel compression, it's very hard to overkill. So I'm going to delete this glue compressor. You can do it with any compression. I just recommend setting up a fairly fast attack and a medium release. But what I like to use is one of the plugins I have bought because the quality is usually better. So I like this H compressor. And then what I like to use is this parallel compression setting. As I stated, fairly quick attack, medium release. Threshold, I'd usually just put this up a tiny bit and increase the analog, and then you can dial in the dry wet to your taste. So now if I solo send and return channel J, which is the compressor, and then I can start dialing in J on the bus. And then what I can do is I can play around with my settings to get the desired compression I want. That sounds nice to me, so then I can just dial back in the return. So now that is the bus channel, and if I turn off the parallel compression, check the levels. So 12.4 with it on, 12.1, so we're hardly seeing any change in volume, but we're seeing a massive change in sound. So this is increasing the perceived loudness of the bus. It's compressing it, so it's helping it glue it all together. And in general, it's just making it sound 10 times better. Some people will set up a parallel compression for each individual bus. I like to run it through all one bus. Main reason being is I like to think is if I was in an analog studio, I wouldn't be able to have 5 or 6 of the same compressors and change the settings. So I like to run a rough setting like this, and then I just run all my buses through it to my desired taste. So I solo the return channel J. So that sounds good to me. That's how I do parallel compression. There's plenty of ways of doing parallel compression, but this is the one that works for me, and I always seem to get a nice result out of it. And there we go. That is the Mixdown done. So we have one more final stage left, which is getting a DJ master. So I will see you in that episode.